how Imam Khomeini paved the way for the end of South Africa's apartheid regime, a historical decision that stunned the world. In 1979, while many Western countries still maintained economic and political relations with South Africa's racist regime, a revolutionary leader in Iran made a decision that changed the dynamics. Imam Khomeini issued an unprecedented decree to cut off all relations with the apartheid regime, emphasizing that the Islamic government would never cooperate with racist regimes. This decision cut off 90% of South Africa's oil supply overnight. In the 1970s, under Shah Pahlavi's rule, Iran was South Africa's largest oil supplier. Statistics show that in 1978, Iran provided more than 90% of the apartheid regime's oil needs, approximately 195,000 barrels per day. This vast oil export formed the backbone of the racist regime's economy. Additionally, the two countries had extensive military cooperation, and their trade volume exceeded $300 million annually. At this time, black people, who made up 80% of the population, were deprived of basic human rights. They had no voting rights, couldn't live in white areas, and were even denied passports. In such conditions, Nelson Mandela, the leader of the anti-apartheid struggle, was imprisoned on Robben Island. Imam Khomeini's decision to completely sever ties with the apartheid regime and impose an oil embargo following the 1979 revolution dealt a heavy blow to the apartheid economy. South Africa was forced to procure its oil through intermediaries at much higher prices, imposing heavy costs on its economy and challenging its survival. This firm stance wasn't limited to South Africa. Imam Khomeini similarly condemned the Israeli regime, labeling it as racist, colonial, and occupying, violating Palestinian rights. In essence, opposition to apartheid in South Africa and occupation in Palestine were two sides of the same coin: the fight against racial discrimination, oppression, and injustice against humans. The impact of this historical decision was so profound that Nelson Mandela, upon his release from prison and ascension to the presidency in 1994, dedicated his first trip to the Middle East to Iran. During this visit, he appreciated Iran's historic stance in supporting the anti-apartheid struggle, recognizing it as a turning point in South Africa's fight for freedom. Today, this historical decision by Imam Khomeini is celebrated as a shining example of foreign policy based on principles and human values. A policy that demonstrated how to stand for justice and human rights beyond short-term economic interests, leaving a lasting mark on history.